wait a minute, I bet you can't hear me. Things are a little different this year, aren't they? Somebody called this a COVID Christmas. Oh my goodness. So let me take this down because I'm the only one here. I just put some cookies in the oven and I've got to set the timer for that. So wait a minute, let me set the timer. Half an hour for those cookies with my little mouse timer. So cute. Mrs. Claus has all kinds of cute little things. So when that rings, I've got to go take my cookies out. So we'll put those right there. So I thought I'd come into the living room here and just take a little break while the cookies were baking. Of course, it's almost 24/7 that cookies are baking. Yesterday, Santa and I were out in the workshop, and he said, "Woman, shouldn't you be home making cookies?" And I said, "Sir, why don't you make the cookies sometimes?" But anyway, so today I decided I would sit and relax and maybe do a little bit of something for you about Mrs. Claus, because quite honestly, it seems always to be about Santa. And sometimes that makes Mrs. Claus a little bit sad because I like to be part of the Christmas too. How does that look? Is that all right? Does that look okay, boys and girls? I know. We've all got these funny masks that we're wearing, and sometimes people don't even know who we are. We look at people and we just have to guess who they are with their eyes. And that's a big thing that you need to learn how to do, is just to smile with your eyes. Open them up and look cheerful and look funny and do all kinds of things that make your eyes sparkle. Because to be honest, children do have eyes that sparkle all the time, and it's a wonderful thing. People do think of Mrs. Claus. I don't want you to think that they don't. And I've got a few letters that I brought from some little girls who I think they wouldn't mind if I read them. This is from Layla, and her elf is called, let's see, Claps. She and her sister both wrote me letters this year. Would you hold this, Mr. Bear? Oh, thank you. And I'm just going to, not read the whole thing, but I'm just going to, oh, so pretty. And Layla decorated this whole letter for me, so it's really, really something special. Dear Mrs. Claus, my favorite part of Christmas is spending time with my family. What is your favorite part of Christmas? I think mine is that too. Just everybody being together. It's going to be a little different this year maybe, but we know that next Christmas will be just grand. I also wanted to know how things are going at the North Pole. Oh my goodness, things are so busy at the North Pole. You just wouldn't believe what's going on. There are elves going out to be elves on the shelf. I know Candy Corn went out, and Claps went out, and Elfin went out. So many out, but a lot of them are in quarantine when they get there. A lot of the elves have to be in little bubbles. So if that happens at your house, don't be surprised. It's very, very different this year, as I said. What is your favorite Christmas carol? Actually, my favorite Christmas carol is a new one, and it was only written not too long ago, in 2004, I think. And it's called Who Comes This Night? And it's a beautiful, beautiful carol. A man named James Taylor sings it on one of his albums, and it's just beautiful. It talks about all the visitors that came to visit baby Jesus on the night of Christmas. Let's see. Mine is, we wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you. I've also been wondering, what is your favorite Christmas treat? I like candy canes. You know what, Layla? Sorry to say, and I don't get this, how Mrs. Claus cannot be a fan of candy canes, but I'm not. I just don't like the taste of peppermint. I think my favorite Christmas goodie is sugar cookies. I love sugar cookies, and I like especially the ones from Denmark. When Santa flies over Denmark, he makes sure that he brings me some of those Danish sugar cookies. They are delicious. What do you do when Santa goes to ride his sleigh? Oh my goodness, I take a big break. I sit on the chair and I just don't do anything. I grab myself a cup of tea or hot chocolate and I just sit there and I take a little breather, because I know when he gets home he's going to be very, very tired. So that's when I have to attend to Santa and bring him his hot chocolate and tea. Do you come with him, or do you do something with the elves and the reindeer? Merry Christmas, Mrs. Claus. Love, Layla. Well, you know, there is a little book that I'm going to read later on that tells about the one time that I did go with Santa, and it was the year that I really, really needed a vacation. Thank you, Layla. That was so sweet of you. I know there's one from your sister here somewhere. Mr. Bear, will you hold that? Thank you. To Mrs. Claus, and that's me. And this is from Abby. And let's see what Abby had to say. She drew some things too. So cute. So cute. Thank you, Abby. I love that. Dear Mrs. Claus, hello. How are you doing at the North Pole? Oh, as you see, things are kind of crazy here. Well, guess what? Things are kind of crazy here, too. My favorite part of Christmas is when we set up our decorations and watch a movie on Christmas Eve. Oh, what's yours? Well, you know, I love when Santa comes back on Christmas Eve and we have the tree lit. And we do put tinsel on our tree, and I'll tell you a little bit about that, too. And it's just shining and glimmering and shimmering, and we're just there, and we have Christmas music on in the background, and the snow is falling so beautiful. I think that's my very favorite moment about Christmas, when things are kind of settling down. That's the first day of Christmas. You know the song, "On the 12 days of Christmas, my true love gave to me." That's actually the first day of Christmas. And the celebration is to last 12 days after that. So that's, I guess, my favorite. I was wondering, what do you do for fun at the North Pole? Here, I read books for fun. I like to go out sledding and sometimes skating when Santa has the time. Do you fly and travel with Santa on Christmas? I'll answer that in a little bit. Do you have powers like Santa? Well, I guess not actually powers. Santa has the magic. He has the Christmas magic, that special ingredient. I guess I'm a good cookie baker. Would you call that a power? I'm funny. I have a lot of love for people, and I think loving people is a power too, and being able to make people happy and to make people feel good about themselves, that's a power too. What's your ideal Christmas present? I know I'm supposed to say peace on earth or something like that, but to tell you the truth, I love pearls and diamonds. Santa, are you listening? Wherever you are in the workshop, are you listening? But also, of course, peace on earth too, of course. Mine would probably be something to do with music or American Ninja Warrior. What's your favorite type of weather? Snow, snow, snow. Mine is when it's sunny and warm, but not too hot. What other things do you like? Well, that would be pizza, Abigail. Pizza. And, of course, as I said, pearls and diamonds. So anyway, Abby, thank you so much for writing this to me. I appreciate it. I hope I answered some of your questions. I'm going to talk for just a minute with a beautiful little legend that explains why I like tinsel. A long time ago, very, very long time ago, there was a country that was part of Russia, the USSR, a long time ago, called the Ukraine. And this is a little legend that comes from Ukraine. Very, very long time ago, there was a poor widow. Now, a widow is someone whose husband has died, so she was a single mom, and she was raising two little children, a boy and a girl. And they lived in a very, very humble hut, a cottage, but more like a hut because it was very, very small. And one year, they planted just a simple pine cone. You've seen these on the ground. And actually, the seeds for the pine cone are in there. So they planted their pine cone. And lo and behold, don't you know, the next Christmas, this pine cone grew into a beautiful tree. So they took the pot and they brought it into the house. They made a few decorations because they didn't have much. They were very poor. And on Christmas Eve, the little girl was kind of crying. She said to her brother, "I wish we could decorate the tree really pretty." But they didn't have anything. They had just cut out certain things, and she knit a few little stockings to put up on it. So they went to bed on Christmas Eve, but they were a little sad about it. Well, unbeknownst to them, there was a tiny, tiny spider in the tree. And the spider heard the little girl crying, and it touched his little spider heart, and he felt so bad for her that he spent all that night spinning and spinning and spinning webs all the way down the tree, all the way down, so that at the end, the entire tree was covered with spider webs. Now, here come Christmas morning in its beautiful, glorious, glorious magnificence. And the sun shone through the window, and when it did, all of the spider webs turned into silver. And it was so beautiful. When the children woke up, they were breathless. They didn't know what to make of it. And another thing was that ended up that the tinsel became very valuable, and they were able to sell some of that silver after Christmas and to have a better life than they did before. But that's why we use tinsel on our tree sometimes to remember the legend of the spider. But still, to this day, in the Ukraine, it's a tradition for people in the Ukraine to put a spider on their tree. So if you have a spider ornament, so beautiful, you can put that on your tree, and it will help you to be reminded of the legend of the Christmas spider. Isn't that lovely? Bye-bye, spider. I'll put you on the tree later. And this box actually came from a country that was close to the Ukraine in Europe, near Poland. It was from Poland, I think, so it's just beautiful. Mrs. Claus loves hearts, as you can probably tell. I love red, as you can probably tell, and I love sparkly things, as you can probably tell. So I did say that this whole visit was going to be about Mrs. Claus. I don't know who will ever see this, but at least you'll know a little more about me, because you seem to know a lot about Santa, but not so much about me. But first of all, you don't even know my name, I bet, right? My name is Jessica Mary Claus. And sometimes, for a nickname, Santa, my Nicholas, calls me Layla. I don't know why. I think he used to like a song that was called Layla, so sometimes he calls me Layla. But my name is Jessica Mary Claus. So nice to meet you after all these hundreds and hundreds of years. And I want to read a cute little book that somebody wrote about me. I mean, the elves, they see what happens in our day-to-day lives, Mrs. and Mr. Claus, and they sometimes write little books. And here's one that they wrote about a few years ago. It's the day before Christmas, but Santa is sick with the flu. Mrs. Claus had a problem. There's still so much to do. First, she dashes off letters on Santa's long list. Then she trims all the trees and decks the halls that were missed. She wraps the last presents. The elves helped out too. But yikes! The cookies were burned! What a hullabaloo. Mrs. Claus goes to leave, but she trips over trash, and down goes the tree with a big giant crash. Oh, what a year this was. Next to the reindeer. It's almost time for the ride. I do have to say, look how nervous the reindeer looked. They weren't too sure that Mrs. Claus, me, was going to be able to pull this off. Well, to be honest with you, neither did I know if I was going to be able to pull this off. Come, Dancer! Come, Prancer! And soon they were right by my side. They leaped to the rooftops for takeoffs at 9. But what's that? It was Santa, and he was feeling just fine. A little hard with the gloves. Maybe I ought to take one of these gloves off. I really don't need them in the house either, do I? Okay. Mrs. Claus puts her feet up as they fly out of sight. Yeah, I'm going to take off this glove. A bit of applause. for Mrs. Claus. She saved Christmas tonight. But one last thought before the book's through. A big North Pole wish. Merry Christmas to you. Now, I don't know what you think about this hairdo. My hairdresser was having a real funky year, and she said, Jessica, let's try something different with your hair. So she did this thing, and it actually looked like a big Christmas tree on top of my head. It got so that the elves, whenever they'd come by, would sneak an ornament on my head. So lots of times I'd be walking around and I'd be jingling, and there'd be things just hanging on my hair there like that. It was kind of cute, but a little funky, I think. I had funky glasses that year too. They were striped. But it does mention my dear, dear reindeer friends. And over here I brought with me Rudolph and Clarice, his girlfriend Clarice. Prancer is somewhere, but I don't know. He's usually up to no good. So Mrs. Claus thought that she would sing a little song to you about Clarice and Rudolph and Prancer and all the rest. So let's see. Mrs. Claus is not too good with technical business, but I'll see if I can manage this. Why don't I get them too so they can join in the fun? Come on, Rudolph. Come on, Clarice. Here we go. What's up? Okay. Here we go. All right, let's see. So it says, play. That must be it. Play. And Dancer and Prancer and Vixen, Comet and Cupid and Donner and Blitzen. But do you recall the most famous reindeer of all? Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer had a very shiny nose, and if you ever saw it, you would even say it glows. All of the other reindeer used to laugh and call him names. They never let poor Rudolph join in any reindeer games. Then one foggy Christmas Eve, Santa came to say, Rudolph, with your nose so bright, won't you guide my sleigh tonight? Then how the reindeer loved him as they shouted out with glee, Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer, you'll go down in history. Then one foggy Christmas Eve, Santa came to say, please, Rudolph, with your nose so bright, won't you guide my sleigh tonight? Then how the reindeer loved him as they shouted out with glee, Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer, you'll go down in you'll go down in you'll go down in history. Kiss, kiss. Stop. I think that's next, right? Stop. So that's what happened that year. And then Rudolph just kind of became a fixture. He kept doing his job. And now, of course, we have so many other pieces of technology. Do you know that some years, this year included, we're actually going to have drones going out? Santa has really a tough job, you know, getting everywhere, and he does his best not to get lost. Sometimes he gets lost because we have the team, of course, that goes down and checks out everything and makes sure that the kids are all nestled and snug in their beds and not a creature is stirring and everything else like that. And then they give him the okay that it's okay to land there. Sometimes it's not okay to land there because the kids, you, are not asleep. And then Santa has to change things up a little bit. So we do have some drones that go out. Clarice, do you want to sit with Mr. Bear? And how about you, Rudolph? Very cute. Yay. Okay, I have some other letters now. These came in a fancy envelope. I think there are two in here as well. Isn't that fancy? It says happy birthday. Well, okay. Got to be you. Okay. So let's see what I've gotten here. This is so nice. Oh, a card. It says a very Merry Christmas to you. And let's see what's in here. Ooh, that's so nice. Look at that. Let's see who this is from. This is from a little girl named Gracie. Oh, how nice. And I have some other drawings, I think. Wait a minute. I'll show the other drawings before I read the letter. Okay. So, we got... This is a flying unicorn, and me and you, Mrs. Claus, going into the store shopping together. Woo-hoo-hoo. That looks like fun. And then, that's another little, there's another picture too, I think. Let's see what this one says. Unicorn flying in the sky, my brother playing video games inside, and my parents pushing me and Gracie on the swing. So we have Gracie and Caroline. Okay, so here's Gracie's letter, and I know Gracie's just a little girl. Hi, Mrs. Claus. She didn't write this. Mommy wrote this, of course, and she just told Mommy what to write down. It's me, Gracie. I'm 2. I like to play, paint, and play some more. We love you. Merry Christmas from Grace. And this is a drawing that she made for me. So cute. Thank you, Gracie. And this one, I think, is from Caroline. Caroline's my friend. Dear Mrs. Claus, and again, Mommy wrote this so that I could read it easily. This note is for Santa, Mrs. Claus, and the elves. Santa, I want a TV for Christmas. I think you can make me a TV. And I want a tent for my room with blankets, pillows, and stuffed animals. That sounds cozy. Mrs. Claus, I'd love you, Mrs. Claus, and Santa and the elves. And my elf is named Logan. I know Logan. He's a mischief maker. You keep an eye on Logan. Oh, my goodness. How are you doing? How are you feeling? Can you tell my elf Logan, Logan, you're the best Logan in the world? Oh, I would like cozy gifts, a robe, and slippers. Okay, let's go. Logan, if you're paying attention, you are the best elf in the whole wide world. You are, Logan. Mrs. Claus is counting on you. Thank you for all the presents. Thank you for always being so nice to me. I wish I could see you all year. I can't believe you married Santa. You know, sometimes I can't believe it either, to tell you the truth. Where did you get married? Oh, we got married in a beautiful chapel at the North Pole. It's like an ice chapel, and beautiful, beautiful icicles all the way down, and sparkling lights, and the snow was falling. It was beautiful. When did you get married? How long? Oh, it's been longer than I can even remember. It just seems like Santa and I, Nicholas and I, have been married forever. But he still has that twinkle in his eye when he looks at me. Can elves read? Can elves read? Most of them, yes, because they have to. Some of them are very young, so the younger ones, just like younger children, are not good readers, of course. But most of the elves, of course, they go to their elf training, and they do read. So, yes, I would say yes to that. How did you get your dress? Actually, I made this one. I wear a green one for the Macy's Day Parade because that's a different event, and that's seen by people all over the world. Red's my favorite, but they ask me to wear green for that parade usually. Do you have a sister? I don't. I do. My stuffed animal, named Goaty, wants potatoes for Christmas. We can do that. Oh, speaking of that, boys and girls, thank you so much, Caroline. When you put out things for Santa at night, as if Santa needs another cookie, he does love them though, please don't forget to put something out for the reindeer. They like carrots, they like apples, they like celery, they like potatoes, they like turnips, anything crunchy they like. Actually, look in the back of your mom's and dad's refrigerator vegetable drawer. There's something back there that they have forgotten about that you can put out for the reindeer, and they will love that. Anything that will go crunch in the night, they will love that. Let me check. Speaking of crunch in the night, I want to see how much time I have left here because I don't want my cookies to burn. This story I promised I would read because it was the time that I did go with Santa. And this is when I had my hair in a bun. Another bright idea by my hairdresser. But anyway. So this is about me. Again, this whole show is about me. I'm so excited. Wait till Santa season. Mrs. Claus had never taken a vacation in her life. This year, she was determined to go traveling. Oh, snow, 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 more snow, I told Santa. Well, I'm tired of it. You get to see the whole world every year, so now it's my turn, and let's see how you like sitting at home. I packed my bags, hitched a reindeer to the sleigh, and waved goodbye to Santa. It was Prancer who came with me. Don't worry, dear. I'll be home before Christmas Eve. Bye. But with each passing day, Santa did worry. Mrs. Claus isn't used to warm weather, thought Santa. She'll get sunburned. Oh, really? But I didn't mind the sun at all. I loved it. That was the French Riviera. Oh, Mrs. Claus doesn't know all the world's languages, thought Santa, and she's never been around so many different kinds of people. I bet she's terribly lonely. But Mrs. Claus had no trouble making friends. And here I am dancing in Greece with a bunch of my new friends. Oh, she must miss baking all those gingerbread cookies, thought Santa, as he baked his first batch ever. See all these burned little things? Those were his cookies. You can see the reindeer weren't too thrilled. They're kind of rolling their eyes at him. But Mrs. Claus didn't miss making gingerbread cookies at all. Well, maybe a little bit. That's me eating sushi in Japan. Look at Prancer. He's saying, what the heck is that? Mrs. Claus. Oh, I bet she were here to help me with all the Christmas preparations, thought Santa, as he put decorations up around the house. Mrs. Claus didn't give the house a passing thought. I did wish Santa could have been with me, though, just to see all those beautiful things. That's the Taj Mahal in India. Oh, Mrs. Claus will be so disappointed to have missed decorating the tree, thought Santa as he hung the last ornament. Santa actually made this ornament for me the first year we were married, and we put it on our tree every year. That's where it is right now. Well, Mrs. Claus did miss decorating the tree. I started seeing Christmas trees everywhere, and wreaths, and snowmen, and mistletoe. Oh, this is my friend Pierre. We met in the French Riviera. Ooh la la. I knew it was time to go back home. So I returned on Christmas Eve day. Santa greeted me with a big hug and a kiss. You're home at last, he said. After dinner, I showed Santa the souvenirs from my vacation. Soon Santa had to get ready for his trip. He pulled on his boots, he put on his mittens, and handed Mrs. Claus her coat. What's this? She asked. I know you've probably had your fill of traveling, Santa said, but how about one more ride with me? I wouldn't miss it for the world, she replied. And that's the year that I got to travel with Santa. It was so very exciting. Sigh. He still makes my eyes sparkle as well. Oh, we're running out of time, I think, a little bit. And I need to show you my favorite book and probably the most classic of all of Christmas literature, Christmas books. And this was written by a man a long time ago for his daughter back in the 1800s. And It's called The Night Before Christmas. Now, many of you probably have some Christmas traditions that you do in your own home. Maybe you put a pickle on your Christmas tree, your parents do, and have somebody find it on Christmas Day. Maybe you light Advent candles at your home starting 4 weeks before Christmas. Yesterday, the candle of hope was lit, and we sure need hope at this time, don't we? Maybe you have an Advent calendar where you open up little doors every day so that you see a little picture or a surprise underneath. Those are always fun. Maybe you put mistletoe up in your house, and whenever anybody gets underneath, they get to smooch under the mistletoe. That's always a nice thing. There are so many traditions. Whoop, cookies. Excuse me. Excuse me. Yoo-hoo. Mr. Elf David, could you take the cookies out of the oven for me, please? I'm running a little late, so thank you very much. Thank you. I love you, little elf. Bye. So I'm all set for a few more minutes, so just don't worry about it. Thank you very much. Thank you. So here's a nice tradition that you can start if you're looking for a tradition. This year's going to be a little different, but have somebody in your house read this book and then sign the inside and the year to know who read it, what year, and every year pass this down and let somebody different read it. You can have maybe the oldest person in the house, that would be a nice thing, read the book, and then the next year, the next oldest, and so on. So here's a nice tradition that you could start. And certainly, you know this story. It's been made into a movie, it's been made into a song, so many things. And this was written in 1823, and it was actually written anonymously. It was called A Visit from St. Nicholas. Okay. 'Twas the night before Christmas when all through the house not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse. The stockings were hung by the chimney with care, in hopes that St. Nicholas soon would be there. The children were nestled all snug in their beds, while visions of sugar plums danced in their heads. And Mamma in her kerchief and I in my cap had just settled down for a long winter's nap. When out on the lawn there arose such a clatter, I sprang from my bed to see what was the matter. Away to the window I flew like a flash, tore open the shutters, and threw up the sash. Here's the big page. The moon on the breast of the new fallen snow gave a luster of midday to objects below, when what to my wondering eyes should appear but a miniature sleigh and 8 tiny reindeer. With a little old driver so lively and quick that I knew in a moment it must be Saint Nick. More rapid than eagles his coursers they came, and he whistled and shouted and called them by name. Now Dasher, now Dancer, now Prancer, now Vixen, on Comet, on Cupid, on Donner, and Blitzen, to the top of the porch, to the top of the wall. Now dash away, dash away, dash away all. As dry leaves before the wild hurricane fly, when meet with an obstacle, mount to the sky, so up to the housetop the coursers they flew, with a sleigh full of toys, and St. Nicholas too. And then in a twinkling I heard on the roof the prancing and pawing of each little hoof. As I drew in my head and was turning around, down the chimney St. Nicholas came with a bound. He was dressed all in fur from his head to his foot, and his clothes were all tarnished with ashes and soot. A bundle of toys he had flung on his back, and he looked like a peddler just opening his pack. His eyes, how they twinkled, his dimples, how merry. His cheeks were like roses, his nose like a cherry. His droll little mouth was turned up like a bow, and the beard on his chin was as white as the snow. The stump of a pipe he held tight in his teeth, and the smoke, it encircled his head like a wreath. He doesn't smoke anymore, though. Not good for you. He had a broad face and a little round belly that shook when he laughed like a bowl full of jelly. He was chubby and plump, a right jolly old elf, and I laughed when I saw him in spite of myself. But a wink of his eye and a twist of his head soon gave me to know I had nothing to dread. He spoke not a word, but went straight to his work. He filled all the stockings and turned with a jerk, and laying a finger aside up his nose and giving a nod, up the chimney he rose. Well, he sprang to his sleigh, to his team gave a whistle, and away they all flew like the down of a thistle. But I heard him exclaim, ere they drove out of sight, Merry Christmas to all, and to all a good night. So, boys and girls, I really have to get back to my cookie baking. I do want to wish you the best, the very best Christmas ever. This is a very hard time. This only happens every 100 years in history, and you're living through it. And the way you can make this better for everyone is to make sure that the love in your heart is bigger than it's ever been. Do something nice for someone. Call your Grammy and Grandpa. Send somebody a letter. Send a nice Christmas card. Smile with your eyes. Go in front of the mirror as soon as you're done watching me and learn how to smile with your eyes. And just know that you are loved and safe and cared for. So from Santa and Mrs. Claus, Merry Christmas, boys and girls.